It is the Riot Podcast. Listen and see if you can hear Obadiah get stuck in the middle of his breaks.
I don't think so. I think you're doing fine.
Okay, well, today we talk about, let's see, we got a lot of stuff. It's a lot of movie talk, more than usual, I will say. It's a lot of streaming chit-chat. We talk about movies being postponed in 2021, new Valentine's candy, which is immediately followed by a discussion of cardio workouts.
Oh, what are we saying? Or are we not saying anything at all?
I don't know what we're saying, but it feels connected. We talk about the QAnon. You know, I call him a shaman, and Nikki was like, isn't it shaman? Can I just tell you that the first time I encountered that word, I was reading Alpha Flight when I was in junior high. Alpha Flight's the Canadian superhero team, and one of the characters' names was probably Shaman, but since I didn't have anybody to tell me how to pronounce it.
Oh, you always went with that? The
shaman.
Shaman? Yeah, no, it's shaman.
Yeah. Another word that I encountered at a young age, I used to say asylum instead of asylum because, again, nobody was pronouncing it out loud.
That's all
I was
right.
just out there in the wild on my own.
You just have to say confidently that somewhere else in the world it's pronounced the way you're saying it, and you're not wrong. But if you want to have us say it the American way, then that's fine.
Well, you know, in a world where we're defining our own pronouns, can I say words the way I want to?
I agree, you can. So
you know what? That might not be the same thing.
Or however you want to say it.
Oh,
it's
we're
fine.
shaming. We're shaming. We also talk about the Trump manatee, Cobra Kai, Nikki's Big McNuggets, and top streaming shows and movies of 2020.
Mm-hmm. There it is.
There's more. That's enough. You guys will stick around.
Thanks for listening today. Don't forget, as always, text 877 to RadioU. Put your name and that you're a podcast listener and say hello. Or if you ever listen to something and you want to include your thoughts, your feelings towards something, definitely text us. We still see that when we come into the studio next time.
I want to write that children's book, Nikki and the Big McNugget Order. Someone would read it.
I really was embarrassed to pick that order up.
And see, that could be about people not food shaming each other. Boom, we've got a kids hit on our hands.
That's right, coming soon. I'll need someone to help illustrate, but we have a vision for it.
Okay, it is the Riot.
The definition of insanity is putting the riot on again and again and expecting a better result. It's the worst of the riot on Radio U.
So, Nikki, it is time to start canceling and postponing things again.
Yay! We're almost a full year around doing this.
Do you remember last year in, I think it was April, when we were like, oh, there's no way they would postpone the James Bond movie. I mean, there's no way how could they do that? There's no way they could do that.
Well, I mean, a lot of that stuff, especially James Bond, we were surprised at, though, I mean, it ended up being the thing they had to do, but they put so much money in the promotion of it. You know, they released the James Bond song. Like, they had already started that machine and that process. And to redo it would mean to literally redo all of that promotion. But, yeah, I mean, it was expected. It would not have been a right time to put Bond out.
Well, here's where we are, Nikki.
Mm-hmm.
Bond was supposed to come out in November. And then it was supposed to come out, I believe, didn't they push it to April of this year? And now the talk, it was supposed to be out April 2nd.
Mm-hmm.
But according to stirrings in Europe, which are probably the beginnings of what's actually true, they're going to postpone James Bond again.
I'm not surprised. Because, again, if it's out in April, it's not about April. It's about now is when they have to decide if they're going to start promoting it again.
Right.
And then that's all that money, and movie theaters are still not back to normal.
Man, I hope we still have movie theaters in April. I'm sure they'll probably still be there, but it's tough, dude. I mean, I'm the guy that was keeping the theater doors open with my money, and I haven't been
He's
in
not
a year.
there. I think you will not get anything anything large movie-wise, they're not going to risk it until maybe October, November, if even at all this year. Just because, again, they don't want to put the money into it, again, to promote it and have to push it later.
Yeah, shoot. Well, that's not the only thing that got postponed. I completely forgot this movie even existed. They made a Morbius movie.
Which one's that?
Okay, starring Jared Leto, where it's supposed to be part of the Spider-Man film universe.
Yeah, okay.
Where he's like Morbius, the living vampire.
I remember this now.
Yeah, that was supposed to be out in March of this year. That is now canceled. Well, postponed.
Oh, see, that's the wrong word to use. So now they're moving that back to, they're moving October. It 7 months to October. See, that one feels like you could have released that, somewhere, somehow, service. It just feels like it would have been okay to go ahead and just send it out.
I don't disagree with you, but, Sony thinks they've got something with their Marvel or, the Spider-Man extended universe or whatever. And so they need you to come and see that in the theaters. Mm-hmm. They need you to believe in the power of Morbius.
So again, if something was postponed to around springtime, now we're at the moment where everything for the springtime is going to be postponed till October, November, maybe even December.
Yeah, so I imagine this is just the first of many postponements. Like, do you think you're going to see that Fast and Furious movie? I don't think so.
Well, no, I thought that got pushed to next year. I thought they just totally...
Oh, you know what? You're right.
I thought they totally skipped this year.
I think you're right about that, actually. What are we doing?
Well, that's the safer thing. Actually, it's not bad they did that, if I'm remembering correctly.
In reality, they were the smart ones.
Yeah, and we're like, wow, you're waiting that long? Like, yeah, that's a good plan.
We've got an archive of everything stupid the Riot has ever said at your fingertips. This is the worst of the Riot podcast.
Nikki, we're always looking for something else that we can spend our money on that we're not spending our money on right now.
We need ideas. What should we get?
And so it's not just, think about it like this. It's not just items that are... like existing categories. So right now I need a new phone or I need a new cup or whatever. Mm-hmm. No, what we need new categories that we can start spending
our money in.
Okay,
yeah. Well, what's some new categories?
Well, Nikki, here's one. Have you ever thought about buying a decorative device holder?
A device holder? You mean like a phone stand or something?
It basically that you put your controller on it, you put your phone on it, something like that. It's a place where, of course, you'd have to run a charging cable to it because it does not also charge things. But this one looks like it might be a capacitive charger. But that way, this would be a new way for us to have little statues around. But these statues will serve a purpose. We pray to them, and they charge our devices.
Well, as long as it charges, right?
Okay,
that's not it.
The first one. Not the first. It wasn't the first one. That's not what I meant.
Hey, I didn't see that in the Amazon description on any item.
I just feel like we're 2 steps away from that. That's all, but it's fine.
So you're talking I have a charger that charges my phone and my watch and my AirPods?
Yeah, but in this particular case, it looks like Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh, I see. So it has like a theme to it.
It looks like Ryu from Street Fighter 2, or the Fallout Pip-Boy from Fallout, or in this case, Darth Vader. Like whatever.
Is there a price point for some of these chargers, or what are we looking at?
Well, I'll tell you what. It's not a charger. It's a device holder. So, I mean, they're really careful to...
They don't want to guarantee that it'll charge anything.
Well, I think the idea is that they keep referring to it as a charger, but it's really a charger stand.
Yeah.
So you would set your phone on it, and then you would plug it into your existing charger.
Oh, okay. So it doesn't doesn't even do that. All right, but say if you were at your desk or if you were somewhere else, I don't know where else you'd be where you'd want this, but it could be sitting next to you, but it has more to it than just a portable charger. It would have your favorite character with it.
Well, it's decorative.
Decorative.
Yeah.
You're not really looking at this, are you? Or are you just reading an article about it?
You know what, Nikki? I'm just talking to you right now. I'm just seeing it here. I wanted to get your take. I was wondering if you had
just shopping?
Any decorative device stands.
No, at this point, because once you're adding the character side to it, no, I do have plenty of charging stands, but not anything that has like a anime or a game character. I don't have any of that.
Okay. All right. So that's fine. I was just checking. Just checking.
You just checking the room.
Yeah, reading the room.
Read the room to see if anybody has anything like this.
Is anybody into this? And I would just ask this question: like, what do you think this costs, Nikki? What do you got?
For that
this
type
one
of character, give me a character and.
Okay, this one that I have pulled up, it's like a deal of the day. It's a stormtrooper.
And does it charge, or is it just a stand with a character?
It's just a stand.
Just a stand. So it's officially licensed from Star Wars. Then
it's officially licensed.
You have to add that to the price.
No, you're right. You're right.
I would say maybe $35, $40.
Okay, it's $25.
Oh, it's cheaper than I thought. Yay!
Look at you.
I forgot it's on a deal website, so it hasn't sold enough. So now they're
apparently
getting rid of it.
I was like, oh, what if I got the Sonic one? Yeah, those are out. No, you know what? Here's one. Sonic, $25. Nikki, if you want to bring the power of Sonic home.
No, thank you.
Okay. You know what? We don't have to tell them.
Now, Sonic with the coins could be funny if you had like a Sonic charging stand / piggy bank that you could put your coins in. That could be kind of funny. But outside of that, I think that's a pass. We'll just leave that for the deal site.
Okay.
This is Radio U's Worst of the Riot.
I don't feel entirely ready to talk about it, and yet here we are, ready or not. Here it comes. As of tomorrow, we are 1 month away from Valentine's Day.
It'll be here before we know it. Like, again, another month is going to go by so fast. So that's the That's the next shopping holiday you can look forward to.
Well, I was at the store earlier this week, and I definitely, forget this week, weeks ago, I saw them moving the Christmas stuff aside and making room for some Valentine's things. Mm-hmm. One of those things, Nikki, the Hershey Kisses Roses.
Oh, what is that?
Well, they say it's a milk chocolate melt-away. Uh-huh. So it's, the soft chocolate on the outside with a creamy, even softer middle.
Ooh.
So, okay. Nikki, that just goes to show you we're chocolate on the outside and then a warmer, even deeper, darker, delicious inside. And so it's a metaphor for loving relationships, how the true value is inside.
Or what? Once you get to the inside part, it just melts away. Like it was
also
never
that.
there.
Could be that.
Could be that. Depending on how the relationship is going or how it went. Okay, so it's Hershey Kisses, and then the inside is stuffed with like the melt away chocolates.
Yeah. Yum. Right?
Yeah, I guess. Sure. I'm not into like chocolate stuff, so those could just melt away and I wouldn't even care. But it is nice. The outside packaging on the Hershey Kisses, it makes it look like a rose. Like it's got some swirls on it, so that's nice.
Thanks for that positive take. Like, well, it has a swirl on.
We don't want to tear down everything. All right. We don't want to, because what if you got a bag of this for Valentine's Day and you remembered hearing me just dump on them? I don't want that to happen. If you get a bag of them, that's great. And the little tag on the top is green, so it looks green. Yeah, it looks just like a rose.
It's exactly like it. It's spot on. It's a rose.
Well, when you first told me about it, I thought it was almost like one of those chocolate roses that you can get. You know, it really does look like one. It's on a stick, but these are Hershey Kisses.
Well, Nikki, if that's more your thing, I'll tell you that Reese's is doing a Reese's Peanut Butter Rose, which is milk chocolate shaped like a rose, filled with peanut butter, wrapped in a rose foil design.
Oh, you should have started with that one. That one sounds good. I'll take a dozen of those.
Sounds a little better.
Dozen of those and balloons. Don't fall for the real roses thing. Those are so expensive. Put your money somewhere else. Invest in something else for the holiday.
And those balloons, as long as you have them filled with that one stuff, they'll last.
Yeah, they will.
Like, they will. So, you know what? Go ahead and send Nikki some balloons for Valentine's Day.
I get them every so often, but you don't have to, guys. Just, the listening is enough, all right?
I'll eat the candy. Nikki can have the balloons. Happy Valentine's Day.
Oh, so they can send it to the show, so it's not just me. It's for both of us.
You know what? If you guys want to send it to just Nikki, it's fine. My heart can handle the beating.
I'll share the candy with you, but you are around that time. So if anybody sees any other fun Valentine's Day, like the limited edition candies, let us know. That way we can look forward and do a food fight with it.
1 month from tomorrow. What?
The worst of the worst. Are you ready? The Riot Podcast. RadioU. RadioU.
We love to hear from you every single morning. Just say hi. Let us know if you're guest hosting Jeopardy. It seems like a lot of people are. So if you're on that list, we'd love to hear about it.
I don't know if we know anybody who's on the list, but so Friday was the last one with Alex Trebek, right? This past Friday. And then is it Ken Jennings this week?
It is. And I don't know how many weeks that Ken Jennings is going to be hosting, but I do know that they are lining up. Like they do Celebrity Jeopardy. Now it's Celebrity Jeopardy Host Edition. Because I saw that Katie Couric, I don't know what she does these days, but she used to do TV news. Aaron Rodgers, yes, of the Giants. No, I'm sorry, the Green Bay Packers. He's going to be
hosting Jeopardy?
Well, apparently he has a history there. He has loved Jeopardy. He got to be on Celebrity Jeopardy.
Oh, so it makes sense.
Yeah, apparently he's been very outspoken about how much he loves it, how much he loved Alex Trebek, and so they've invited him to come.
Oh, well, that's fine.
And guest host. So let's see. I feel like there were a couple of other people who I'm missing right now. But,
the Katie Couric one is after Ken Jennings, so she'll be like the next one after.
Okay. All right. I mean, sure. Whatever. I don't mean this in a bad way, but okay.
We just never watched Jeopardy. I mean, we have in our lifetime, but we don't currently watch it.
Well, Nikki, I think there's kind of a bell curve for Jeopardy watching. I think, you hit 8 or 9 and your parents stop dropping you off at your grandparents' house for, while they're doing their thing, because you can watch yourself now. So your grandparents, and then you graduate from high school, go to college, start a family, et cetera, et cetera. Your kids then have to graduate from college, start a family.
So it just graduates like that.
You have to get all the way back to being the grandparents in that scenario, and now you watch Jeopardy. So at least that's the trajectory I'm on.
Well, I guess. I mean, again, we always liked Alex Trebek, but never watched it. So we'll see with maybe the guest host. And I would watch if it was the guy from Wheel of Fortune. I think that would be fascinating
Pat Sajak?
Yeah, I think it'd be fascinating to see him host it too, because they always were, and I don't know if they still are. I think it depends on where you're at, but it was always Jeopardy or Wheel of Fortune. Like they were always next to each other.
So do you think, would Vanna White join him, and when someone picked the category name, she would walk over and touch the category screen?
Maybe it'd be fun. It'd be an interesting take on it, just to see, a week of it.
Nikki, I want to watch you host Jeopardy.
No, I don't want to.
Why not?
I want to feel stupid.
You're not going to feel stupid. You have all the answers.
I know, but I feel like a lie. I don't know these answers. I don't even want to even risk it. I don't want to. I would do better on Wheel of Fortune, but I don't even want that. It's too much pressure.
The answer was Mongols. What even are those?
I know. I think I might get too real as we go through the show. So that's a pass. But I think you would do a better job.
Nah, I don't know that I'm really cut out for it either.
Well, you are. You have the personality, all the random trivia sort of stuff. So, yeah, you could totally do a good job.
Oh, yeah. So me and Aaron Rodgers, we have a lot in common. We're both hosting Jeopardy. I'm a liar.
Obie will be right after, so just wait for those episodes. You'll see them soon.
They'll just have me waiting in the wings.
Yeah, just in case no one else ends up coming up. And they'll go through Bachelor people probably before they get to you.
Who's this guy? He was a contestant on third season of The Bachelor, and he was cut in the first week. But we think he'll do great.
Don't you recognize him?
Maybe the Riot would sound better if they spent less time improving their lives at their gym. That was sarcasm. It's the Riot on RadioU.
Nikki, what's your exercise plan for today?
Well, it's a rest day. It's not a leg day. It's not a workout day. It should be a rest day.
It's a rebuilding day?
Yeah, it is. Well, so far for the year, for the season.
2021 has been a rebuilding year, but listen, The year's not over. We're just not there yet.
Well, you don't want to jump back into working out. What if you hurt yourself or, cause any problems? You just want to take it very slowly.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm with you. You want to, don't be too hard on yourself. Just slowly but surely find your way.
I think if you get all your work or your class stuff done, that is the workout in itself, and that's what you should be celebrating. So
look at you. Wow. Look at what you're accomplishing. Look at what's happening right now. It's great. So there is a study coming from Oxford University, and here's what they are saying. That basically, and I mean, this feels a little exaggerated. The headline says there is no limit to the health benefits of exercise for your heart. And so here's what they essentially found. Like, no matter how old you are, no matter how young you are, no matter what kind of shape you are in, basically there is never a time when you could not start doing exercise that benefits your cardiovascular system, your heart, and it would not be a huge benefit to you overall.
Because sometimes you say to yourself, what's the point? But they're saying it's almost an immediate help to your body. So it's worth just jumping into anytime.
They say that the WHO guidelines, the World Health Organization, they recommended 150 to 300 minutes of moderate to vigorous aerobic activity per week for all adults. And they say that their findings just continue to back up this. Like, again, no matter how old you are or what you're doing, you need to be getting this kind of exercise. And to be clear, if you look at the World Health Organization stuff, that could be walking. So, like, that could be deciding to go for a walk around campus or something. But, like, some kind of exercise like that makes a huge difference in your world.
All right, well, we accept that.
Okay.
We understand what they're saying, and we feel no pressure, but it would be nice to get a walk today, if that works out.
So, well, no, I was going to say, Nikki, now with all this new information, let's talk about your plans for today.
What should we do?
Is it still a rebuilding day?
I'm going to take a walk about the RadioU room. I'll take a walk around our studio. We actually have a very spacious, large filming TV studio behind us. You can get a couple laps in that, and actually that would be pretty much all you needed to do.
We could call that mild to moderate, and that's a day.
Yeah, and then you go the steps up a few times, down a few times, call it your workouts.
The other thing I'll tell you is it's not like RadioU's break room is close to the studio.
That is
it takes a little walk to get down there.
It does. Now, there's still plenty of cookies and temptation in that break room, but if you just walk right on past it and keep going, we could get enough of what they're saying would be a right amount of time of working out today.
Well, Nikki, I'll tell you, looking at the list here, it doesn't say anything about not eating those cookies. It just says to get the exercise. So.
Well, I'm going to need you to find me a different study for that one. So tell me another one that says it's okay to have all that, and just give us all the news today.
There are some people that shouldn't have their own podcast. And by some people, we mean these people. RadioU's Worst of the Riot podcast.
Has it been a goal of yours? Maybe you haven't gotten to go. If you were like me and you were a kid, you always saw your friends going and you never went. And it had kind of a mystical, almost like, wow, is it even real kind of thing? I'm talking about trips to Disney. Well, guess what? You might be getting your wish. It turns out Disneyland is volunteering itself as a mass vaccination site for COVID-19.
Oh, what if your parents took you? Like, you're like, they're saying, hey, we're going to Disney, and you're actually just going to go get a shot. It just seems like a lie.
You're like, yeah,
we're going. And you're not actually going into the park. You're just going to go to get the vaccination.
Well, it's just sitting there.
Do you get
empty.
money off the park though if you go and
will you get like a punch card or a coupon?
Something like, do you just get like incentive to have it, or will it just be because there's such a big parking lot space for them to be able to get the shot out to so many more people?
I don't know. I mean, I will say, I said that they were volunteering the site. I don't know that they're volunteering it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there may be money changing hands here. I don't know. But since Disneyland has been closed since last March.
So this is the, Anaheim one. We're not talking about,
Right.
yeah. Okay. So it's not
Disney World is in Orlando.
Because
Yes.
that's still open and that's still going. So they haven't said if they're doing the same thing there.
I mean, you're welcome to take your life into your own hands and head to Orlando anytime you want. But in Anaheim, they've got Disneyland, and they say that it's a location where they could vaccinate thousands of people a day.
So it'll be the first massive COVID vaccination site.
Yeah, they say there are a few of these that they're planning on setting up regionally around the country, and that way we can get the Bill Gates microchip in more people than ever.
So Disney will be the first of 5 regional point of dispensing sites in the area that will have the ability to vaccinate thousands per day instead of the smaller amounts at other sites.
That's right. Nikki just said their short for that is POD.
It is.
So
way to go, RadioU throwback band.
we're in the
POD.
Southtown, baby.
Come
on.
Currently, vaccinations are only available to residents and people who work in Orange County who meet the criteria listed for tiers of phase 1 for California's vaccine rollout. So that's healthcare workers, long-term care residents, and more.
And hey, you know what? I hope that you guys have a great time on your Disneyland trip. Don't say we never took you anywhere.
Like, where are you going today? I'm going to Disney.
Is it open?
No,
well,
it's
kinda.
We would give the Riot flowers to show our appreciation, but Obadiah's probably allergic. What isn't he allergic to? This is the Riot on Radio U.
You know, all this Disney talk, realistically, Nikki, you and I probably are not going to go to Disneyland and get vaccinated this weekend because Mom and Dad never take us anywhere.
Correct.
We never get to do what we want.
It's not in the plan for this weekend, but okay.
Fine. But it doesn't mean that Disney's not there for us as we continue to be locked up in our holes. This is the week that WandaVision is going to hit Disney Plus.
Oh, really?
Are you pretending to know what that is?
I have seen the picture. Isn't it the guys with the mask or something? And then it's like set in the olden days.
Yes. It's we don't really know when it's set. Like,
is it a comic book thing or what is it?
No, it totally is. It's an Avengers spinoff. That's Wanda Maximoff, known in the old days as the Scarlet Witch, and then what's his name? Vision, the android, and that's Paul Bettany.
Yeah,
that's playing that character. So those characters are both from the Avengers. This is the first Marvel TV like cinematic universe spinoff show that is showing up on Disney Plus. So it's, when I say it's kind of a big deal, I don't think in thousands of years they'll look back on this Friday as the turning point in society.
But as far as Disney Plus is concerned, it is a bigger deal for them. This was supposed to be out last year, and then it did get pushed back.
Did it? I thought, you know what? Yep. Okay, you're right. But it's premiering today. Or I'm sorry. Gosh. This week, it's on Friday.
You checked out already, have you? Is it already Friday in your head?
Yes. The important part is it's this week and it's happening, and I am so watching this on Friday.
Did they say if they're going to do one a week, or are they just going to dump them all out?
No, it's going to be a once a week kind of thing. So don't worry, Nikki. You paid for 3 years of Disney Plus in advance. You'll be fine.
Yeah, I know. I got plenty of time with it. It's no problem. For Disney Plus, like, I'm glad. I guess I'm glad I have it.
I think how you really feel is starting to creep in here.
No, but I appreciate this stuff. They got to start coming out with more stuff that was, as popular as The Mandalorian, and they just need more stuff, more content, and they hope that this does the trick.
Yeah, well, this is it. So I'm hopeful. You know what? I'm staying upbeat. It's a new year. It's a new me. There's going to be a new show to stream. Wow.
So you're going to plan it?
Week.
Do you plan to watch it this weekend then, or you have to watch it on Friday?
100%.
The Riot has now been downloaded. I hope you installed some antivirus. This is the worst of the Riot podcast.
I made the rare admission that I'm actually looking forward to an actual streaming show this weekend that I plan on watching. It is one thing to say you're looking forward to a show that's going to die in your queue, but it's something else that you're actually going to watch.
Well, that's exciting. We get more of it's just going in the queue than we do with actual stuff we actually watch the whole thing.
So WandaVision starts on Friday, but here in my own life, I just wrapped up Star Trek Discovery Season 3.
Okay.
And despite the fact that there were things I didn't like, I ended up liking that show.
Okay.
Like that, I wrapped up Season 3, like, man, I'm ready to watch more of this right now.
Is that the CBS All Access one?
It is, and I just canceled my membership. Thank you.
Okay. So he has literally closed the door on it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
He's done with it.
I'm not coming back until they got something else I really want.
Okay.
But,
well, at least you finished the whole thing.
I did. Now, Netflix, on the other hand, is constant. Constant as the morning star. I have yet to cancel them. And they say that if I was looking for something new to watch, Nikki, it's time for me to get on that Cobra Kai bandwagon, because they are saying that it is one of their top streaming programs, like their original streaming programs of all time.
Mm-hmm.
So like, it doesn't top, say, The Office, but as far as something that is coming only from them, it's near the top.
So Cobra Kai is on track to have 41 million households watch season 3. So that's why it's considered a top program for them.
Don't you want to be like everybody else?
Everybody else doesn't mind watching it. This is one of the only shows I've seen the people's thoughts on it turn because of now the streaming service that it's on. When it was on YouTube, one of their originals, yeah, people kind of got into the first season, but then everybody started to dump on it. Moved to Netflix, everybody's loving it. Like, everybody enjoyed season 3, even though you go in realistically, know what you're watching, but they seem to like it.
You know, Nikki, it really just comes down to, like, what?
The lack of everything else?
It just comes down to laziness. You're just lazy. You're like, wait a minute, are you telling me I got to switch over to, no, I can't do that. Oh, it's on the Netflix? Okay, go ahead and push the button.
Well, maybe it had a better connection with Netflix viewers than it did with YouTube Red. Maybe.
That could be. So that would be what? Like people in their 30s and 40s versus people in their early teens and late teens? Like,
maybe. I mean, I'm not sure what YouTube Red, what their target demo is, but
I don't know.
The third season started on January 1st, so that's a lot of people in not a lot of time.
Well, I'll tell you, I really need to. Okay, all right. Now we're into list territory. I need to dedicate all of my free time to more of this streaming. I got to get to work on this.
Well, one last note on Cobra Kai. They say that 73 million subscribers has watched at least one episode of Cobra Kai across all 3 seasons.
Well, there we go. We finally found my category. I'm one of those guys.
Just one episode, and that's all he needs.
That's right. That's right. I have done one episode across the 3 seasons. I'm killing it. So, yeah, like, I guess if you're liking that show, you are not even remotely
the
alone.
only one, which is why season 4, when that comes out, that'll be the first that Netflix produced, and I'm sure it'll do just as well.
Is it healthy eating so many snacks, chips, and Oreos every single morning? No, of course not. But they do it for you.
Too many guys got the stomach for this line of work.
That's real love. It's The Riot on Radio U.
So, you know, we as a society continue to be, you know, past the boiling point on all of this election and right versus left, political whatever. But listen, do we have to involve the animals in our petty human bickering? Do we? Did you see what happened to the manatee?
Oh, yeah, I did. So is it carved in, or is it just, did someone move the, like, is there like sludge on top of a manatee, or is it more than that?
I don't.
You don't know?
Let me give you a quote from the U.S. Fish and Wildlife. It's investigating the harassment of a manatee reported to several authorities over the weekend, discovered with the words Trump scraped in its back.
Mm-hmm.
So I wondered the same thing, because when you look at the photo, it's like, now, wait a minute. Do they just have like a dirty back and they just like, you know, like like sometimes you put a little message in somebody's rear window with all the dust on the car?
I couldn't tell. Yeah, like, does it just have a protective layer on top? But for manatees, I mean, if with boats and stuff, you see a lot of scars normally. So I don't know if maybe, like, did someone actually scrape this in or what? I just haven't seen any more of the specific details.
No, Nikki, it's a sign. According to the prophecy, the name will be written in the manatee in South Florida. Did you ever?
I don't think I've heard that. I've never
read that one?
Nope, never read that one before.
I mean, there's some conjecture,
but no matter what they did, you're not supposed to
right?
You're not supposed to bother manatees in Florida. They're very much protected, so you're not supposed to.
Can't.
You're not supposed to feed them, harass them, harm them, hunt them, shoot them, wound them, kill them, annoy them. You're not supposed to really even touch or bother a manatee. And also, no matter what, if they scraped it in or if they just, moved the sludgy stuff on top, that is still all under the Protective Act for manatees, so they would still get in trouble.
Yeah, I mean, Nikki chose a lot of negative words for that. So you might be, I just want to let you know that you also are not allowed to love them, hug them, pet them,
You're not
take them for a swim.
Nope.
You're not allowed to do any of those things with the manatees. Remember the lady, was it last year or 2 years ago? She was swimming with the manatees and got in trouble.
You do get in trouble. The wildlife officer said that, they can't really commit on the investigation, but harassment of a manatee is a Class A federal criminal offense punishable by a $50,000 fine and a maximum of 1 year in federal prison.
How bored are you right now that you're like, oh, I'll tell you what, this is how we get the message out. This is how. Do you think it's just like, okay, is this somebody that hates Trump and they were like, we're going to put this out to make his followers look bad? Is it somebody that loves Trump and they're like, look, even nature heralds his name?
Actually, that's a good question. You don't know, but people have been talking about it. They try to figure out who was bothering the manatee.
Was it Banksy? Was it?
We don't know. This is not some art thing. It's not some art.
Think so?
No, I do not think so.
And you don't and just to be clear, you don't think that we're going to start seeing political tattoos showing up on lots of manatees? Like this is they're tattooing each other with political messages. It's their version of putting out a yard sign. This guy is a dyed in the wool, if that's a thing for manatees, Trump supporter. You don't think that's a thing?
I don't know. I don't know, but they are investigating, but that's all they'll say at this point.
Keep your eyes on the seas, friends. We'll do the same.
Everything you love about the Riot, plus a handy-dandy fast-forward option. This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Okay, look, I know we were just talking about Trump manatees, but there's one more Trump-ish supporter that we got to talk about. The QAnon shaman. That's what people are calling the horned hat guy.
Oh, that guy. Okay, the one with the whole outfit from everything. Everybody notices this guy.
I've been referring to him as the tailgater.
Yeah.
Or as the horned hat guy.
That also
those
works
are my
too.
But they're now calling him the QAnon shaman, which I'm just going to tell you, I don't feel like it's as fun. But you know what? It does whatever it takes. You're identifying that guy with the horned hat and the red backpack. Well, Nikki, I don't know if you caught this earlier in the week. His mom is real concerned about him.
Oh, is this the guy who's the food in the jail thing?
Yes.
So he has been having trouble since he's been, incarcerated with this. He only eats organic food, or he's
That's
not been
right.
given the food in jail. So he had stopped eating, and that's why his mom was concerned.
So they were basically like, he has a real specific organic diet that he eats. And
Okay.
I think...
Now, I know this is like, right. Do you know how more and more people are like this? So as more and more people then move on and possibly get put in jail, like this is not the first time someone has had food concerns or started a hunger strike for it or requested food that they would eat on the outside, even though they don't realize it's part of the punishment because you're inside. I could see this only becoming a bigger problem for our jail system.
Well, I mean... Prison sucks. It's part of the point. Isn't that right?
Yes.
I mean, okay, to be clear, I'm not advocating the mistreatment of prisoners, but I mean, the idea that I now have to go out of my way to feed you organic food. What? I wouldn't have, you could have come to my house and I wouldn't have done that for you. You're in jail now. Like, what are you talking about?
So he's probably eating better than we do in our real lives.
Well, I will tell you that they announced yesterday that, yes, They've got him back to eating. They're getting him the organic diet that he needs. And I'm just tucking this away, guys, because I'll tell you what. Whenever I end up going to prison, we all know it's coming. I don't know what for, but something. I am going to be like, look, I'm on a hunger strike until I get my chicken McNugget diet taken care of. Okay?
That's yours.
That's what I eat. That's how I got this body. It's how I'm going to maintain this body. I need my chicken McNuggets.
But don't you think they're just lying to him at the jail? Like they're just saying, yes, here's your organic food. And they just stir it around a bit more. They add some dirt in it, and then it's just more organic. They just mix it in. You don't even know.
They sit him down, and they're like, son, do you know that organic actually means that it contains carbon? I can assure you there's plenty of carbon in your meal. Now shut up and eat it.
So I don't know what his meals would actually end up looking like, but they say that they've given him some to where I think he's starting to eat again.
Well, that's good. I was worried about him. And the other thing, do you get to keep your horned hat while you're in jail? Like, can you still?
Well, if they arrested him that day, then it just gets, it waits for you to be released from jail. Then you get it out. But I don't know when he was arrested.
You can't wear it while you're in jail?
You're not allowed to, no.
So then how do they know that he's the guy that gets the organic food? That's what I'm saying.
I'm sure he's made enough noise. Yes, it is that they know who he is, I'm sure.
In jail, out here we call him QAnon shaman. In jail, they're like, oh yeah, sovereign citizen over there.
The Riot is well-versed on many different topics.
They're shy at first, but they're quite skilled at conversation.
This is The Riot on RadioU.
Off air, Nikki and I were just talking about how, you tell a story about your life. They say that, like, psychologists will say, like, on the inside, you're kind of building a narrative about your life. And mine is always full of contradiction, irony, deep irony, shocking, ridiculous irony. And I feel like circumstances continue to present themselves to make me feel bad about myself. Okay, but here's why I'm telling you this. I'm telling you that sometimes when we tell our own story, even to ourselves, we have a pretty limited perspective. We can only see it from our end. And I want you to know that there's a different perspective on your life today. And there's a different narrator that wants to join in your storytelling about your life. You are very much loved. You are very much cared about. And you may say to yourself that you're not. That nobody cares, that it doesn't matter. You're just one more cog in the machine. You know what? You're not. You're a shiny, happy cog. Okay, that's not where I'm going with this, but I want you to know that you do matter. And that other narrator to your story that I'm talking about is the Spirit of Jesus that wants to live inside you. I'm not talking about a religion. I'm talking about a relationship with God who wants to add his voice into the mix. And I will tell you, that if you get in the habit of listening to his voice over some of the other noise, you will find that he is sharing a really different story about your circumstances. Now, do your circumstances always magically change? Like, man, I started a relationship with Jesus, and suddenly the narrator was like, and then he hit the lottery and bought a small island where he's lived happily ever after. That is not... so far, that has not been...
Not ruling it out for Obi's life, but that's not traditionally it.
That's not what I've seen, but there definitely has been a change in the narration, and it's kinder, it's softer, it's loving, and, God's shown me some different ways to go at things. I'm saying all this because I don't want you to keep running through your really... mean to yourself narrative. Talk to God today. Invite Jesus in and say, Jesus, I want that. I want you to come into my life. I want you to fill me with your spirit. I want you to show me how to live. And I want to hear your voice in my story instead of all these other really mean people. It's maybe a little too simple, but it's real, right?
Using advanced technology, we've digitized and transcoded Obadiah and Nikki into a purely digital format. This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Well, I feel like I need to come clean and tell you what I did last night for dinner.
Okay, let's hear it. You went to Bojangles.
No, I've never been to one. But I opened up the McDonald's app because Eric and I are like, oh, yeah, let's go to McDonald's. And there was that chicken nugget special where it's
what?
It's the 40 with the two fries.
Without me.
Now wait.
You had it without me.
So Eric was like, "Yeah, let's do it," and then we could just eat nuggets for days. You could just reheat them. But so I ordered it on my phone, and then I was like, "Well, let's just go get it." And then he had to do something. So I had to
DoorDashed it, didn't you?
No, I had to go and I picked up and I had to be the person who had 40 nuggets brought to their car, and I had a really hard time with it. But it was great, but I had a hard time with it. That's a lot of nuggets. It was embarrassing.
You know, Nikki, don't be embarrassed. You don't have to. What I found is
Be
that when I go to
proud.
McDonald's and I park in the site, or in the
spot?
parking number,
Yeah.
like you don't have to make eye contact if you don't want to.
Well, it was just hard because they bring out the whole, like, the tub now. They put your food in a tub, and then they carry it out to you.
A trough, really?
Yeah, and then I got, you get, 6 sauces with all the nuggets and the fries.
Great.
And I was just like, yeah. And I wanted to say, yeah, I hope my husband and all the people at our house are excited for this. Like, we're having a party. Because that's, again, 40 nuggets. So that's what
It's one of our favorite party favors. We like to send them home with people.
Or it's that's meal prep, and you're basically just eating nuggets the rest of the week. So yeah, that's what I did for dinner last night.
I just want to say, Nikki,
What?
don't be ashamed. There's nothing wrong with it.
Wasn't ashamed. I was just kind of embarrassed being the one to pick up so many. But man, for $13, that was quite the deal.
Well, I mean, only $13?
For that and the fries, Obi. And it didn't
What a
take long.
savings.
I thought I was going to be waiting there. I thought, well, how many nuggets do they have on deck, ready to go at any moment's notice? And I didn't have to wait any time at all. So I think they have a lot of nuggets ready to go, and they're not maybe as fresh as you think they are.
Wow. It depends on when you catch them. You might have caught them on the cusp of a new nugget cycle.
Could be all 40 of them.
Every 10 minutes, they're doing a new wave. I'm sure they sell a lot of nuggets, Nikki, especially, apparently, if you and I are both going to McDonald's at the same time.
So if you're wondering what's for lunch and possibly dinner today as well, we'll be having nuggets reheated in the air fryer.
No, tell the story. How many nuggets were left?
Probably 20. I think there's 20 nuggets left.
Man, somebody didn't do their job. I'd be doing...
It wasn't enough. We should have ate
No,
more.
I mean, I'll just tell you, for me, I have to order a 10-piece McNugget. That's the way I set limits, because I could do a 20, and I mean, I might not get all the way to 20, but I'm, 15, 16, no problem.
Now, Dane
No
texted,
problem.
said, try being the only one getting 50 nuggets and eating them alone. Nothing wrong with that either. It's just hard when I get more embarrassed easily, and it was hard to be the one to pick up the 40 nuggets.
Hey, do you want some dipping sauce with that, sir? No, I have this cup here to catch my tears.
Because you're embarrassed.
In case you're wondering, yes, we do get complaints.
They have gone too far. This time, they are going to be held accountable.
You're listening to The Riot on Radio U.
Nikki, while we're arguing over the biggest of the year lists, we were just talking about supposedly per state, by state, which ones were the biggest fried chicken restaurants in each state.
Yeah.
According to Nielsen, Nikki, the hands down, by far, so far out in front of everybody else, winner in streaming video last year was, do you have a guess, or do you already know?
I saw it. I saw it on the list. I didn't want to cheat and pretend I didn't. But I'm not surprised based on I just know a lot of people who are watching through it.
It's The Office, which has been on Netflix for years.
Maybe because a lot of people had to start working from home and they didn't have the office anymore. It was nice to have an office sort of feeling with the show you were watching.
There was something therapeutic about
Yeah.
the one guy that's always goofing around, having a crush on the girl up front, and yeah. Okay. All right. Sure. But it was the big one. Tuesday, when Nielsen released the numbers, they're just look, this is by far and away the biggest one. They also said that right behind it was Grey's Anatomy. What are you doing?
Well, I think it's just a show that has a lot of episodes and a lot of seasons. So if you're going to get into something, that's a long haul right there.
Just like my COVID. I talked to my dad last night, And he told me that he's
he
been
watching through?
He's watching Grey's Anatomy. And you know what? I just didn't have it in my heart to criticize him. I was just like, all right.
It's still your dad. Okay, you got to support him. But really, what an odd choice.
Like, Dad, The Expanse is on Amazon, right? You know that. I've been telling you about it. He still hasn't watched that, but he's watching McSteamy and McDreamy and Mick whatever. Dealing with a bunch of made-up medical drama when he could be out in space. I'm concerned for him, quite frankly.
So they're saying for last year, we watched 57 billion minutes of The Office. So that was number one. So that was the figures that were part of it. As of the start of this year, though, The Office moved to Peacock, so it's not available on Netflix anymore. Grey's Anatomy, just to show you the difference between the two, 57 billion. If you go to Grey's Anatomy, also on Netflix, 39.4 billion minutes streamed. So there was a really big difference between first and second place. Then you had past seasons of Criminal Minds, NCIS, Supernatural, Shameless, New Girl, and more.
Those feel like those are Sydney's fault. That's what that feels like to me.
Some of them do, but others, I think it's just a show that's already done, that's been around for a while, that someone can just literally go into and watch the entire thing instead of something that's still a current show that maybe hasn't finished a season yet.
Doesn't leave you hanging.
Yeah.
So you have to ask yourself, despite the fact that Peacock may be the worst of all the streaming services, do you think that a lot of people sign up for Peacock so they can continue to watch The Office?
It's similar to the Friends thing from the year before. So, would people watch Friends on HBO Max?
HBO.
And it was still top for them, but I don't think it's nearly the same numbers as when it's on a service that's more popular.
Yeah, I will say, and we mentioned this last year, and it's probably still a thing if you keep your eyes open. Basically from the middle of December till at least the first week of January, you could buy The Office for $30, all of it, on iTunes, Vudu, and I think Amazon. I saw those sales go up, and I was like, man, if you care enough, if forget about paying $15 a month for Netflix. This pays for itself in 2 months.
So this only was done through a service that measures just Netflix, Amazon Prime, Hulu, and Disney Plus. So it doesn't measure anything outside of that. Other things for Netflix that were popular: Ozark, Lucifer, The Crown, and Tiger King. The only non-Netflix show was Disney Plus for The Mandalorian, and that was it.
That was, you know what? I don't know. I think what my biggest problem with streaming is that people watch TV like it's their hobby, it's their downtime. And when I get that time, I go off and do something else. So that's, I think that's it. I like having streaming services, but basically they're just places where I make a list of things to do that I never intend to follow through on.
You're listening to the worst of the riot, Radio U.
So we just found out that The Office was far and away the most streamed show on Netflix. Not just Netflix, but streaming in general. People watched more of The Office last year than anything else.
It was tops. Now they do have, again, based off of numbers from Amazon, Netflix, Hulu, and Disney Plus. The problem is, Obi, with going through all of these is, remember, Netflix never really gives exact stuff. So these are estimates based on viewing. And here's the other thing. It's viewing connected to TV. So it does not include if you watched on your phone or a laptop, which is the main way I think some of us watch our stuff nowadays, on our phone. So it is still there's still something to remember, that there could be things that actually would have ended up being more popular based on how you viewed it. But for now, this is the list that they come out with.
Okay, so you know what, Nikki? You found the list. Lay it on us. Give us the top 5 with those limitations, movies that were streamed last year.
So you saw that Netflix was kind of the winner when it came to shows. But as far as movies, number one content movie streamed from 2020 was Frozen 2. And that was over 14 million streamed with that from Disney Plus. Disney Plus really excels in the movie side. 2 was Moana. 3 was Netflix with The Secret Life of Pets 2. 4 was Onward. And then 5 was The Grinch, the animated one from Netflix.
Let's round it out. Hamilton was number 6 on Disney Plus. Spencer Confidential, what?
I don't know what that is.
Was number 7. I do. It was a Mark Wahlberg movie.
Oh, really?
It came out. I mean, I remember seeing it pop up as a suggestion, but I never watched it. Aladdin was number 8. Toy Story 4 was number 9. And Zootopia was 10.
So, again,
it looks like
everybody who had little brothers and sisters or family who was not at school, it looks like streaming Disney Plus movies was the way to go last year.
Well, I'm just going to say, I think Disney Plus was the number 1 babysitter of 2020. That's what it's looking like to me right now.
Actually, a great way to put that. The Office kept everybody else occupied while everyone who didn't watch The Office was watching a Disney Plus movie.
Sure does seem that way, doesn't it? So, I don't know. Like, Nikki, what would you say, like, this year or last year? Whether it's a movie or a TV show, what was your go-to? What did you keep? Like, was there something you watched over and over?
No, but I would say that I did a lot better with getting through my queue and stuff. So I just watched a lot more random stuff, but nothing that I kept going back to over and over again.
Yeah. Well, my go-to throughout everything has just been YouTube. That's all. Like,
short and sweet, right?
I watch some movies and TV and stuff, but as far as streaming services go, I'm just on YouTube watching just the dumbest stuff.
Oh, I guess that makes me
stuff.
Just TikTok, actually. So that would be the number 1 thing that I watched last year, just TikTok.
Remember I told you guys I have a weird obsession with comparisons between versions? Man, YouTube just feeds that.
It didn't help it at all, did it?
They just feed it.
The Riot. Just because it's bad doesn't mean it's not good. Wait, isn't that exactly what it means? It's The Riot on Radio U.
You guys know the Consumer Electronics Show is happening virtually from computer servers around the world.
Normally from Vegas, but yeah, I'm not sure where, a lot of the stuff is actually coming out of, but they're still unveiling a lot of interesting electronic stuff, but it's not done in the huge big way that in previous years it's always done.
Not a lot of video game related news. I watched NVIDIA. They make graphics cards and some stuff that goes in consoles. And their press conference yesterday was essentially them announcing that they made things last year. So good for them.
Did they apologize for not making enough of the things last year?
Very briefly.
Oh, they touched on it?
We're very sorry that supply has been a problem, but we continue to work hard with our partners to put the stuff you want in your hands.
Well, honestly, with certain companies, that it was such a pain to find these items that they kept pushing last year. They don't need to come out with anything new until they get it all worked out.
I hear that. So, Nikki, here I have one more company that has announced something that'll be out, I think, like next week, that you'll never get your hands on.
What is it?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I said next week. It'll be February 12th. The new Mario Red and Blue Edition Nintendo Switch.
It looks tempting, doesn't it? It looks nice, but yeah, it'll be hard to get this one.
So I am not even remotely pulled in by the aesthetics of something. So if they're like, you could have a Nintendo Switch, but what if it was all blue? I'd be like, what if you could hear the sound of me not caring?
See,
it's pretty loud, isn't it?
On the other hand, I am lured by that call of the siren.
Are you really?
Oh, yeah. I love it when it's you can skin it. It's like I've looked into, at least for my Switch, different covers for it to kind of give it a different look. But when they come out with the nicely decorated, it's got the case that matches it. Like it is tempting. It is for me.
It's nice. It's just one of those things where it's never been enough for me to go, ooh, I should invest in new hardware. I will typically just stick with what I have. I'm trying to think if I've ever done that. If I traded into, I don't think so. Hey, the other thing they announced yesterday from Nintendo, whether you want to buy the new Nintendo Switch or not, and that's just a different colored Switch, that's all. They are going to be offering Super Mario 3D World for the Nintendo Switch, and that is also coming on February 12th. So
that'll
the same
be a
day
big
that
day.
they're launching. Yeah. That's actually, did you ever play that? That's a Wii U game. That is not a new game.
No, I never had a Wii U, so I never played it.
Okay. Well, I will tell you, that's a good game. And you can play co-op. I think you can play up to 4 players on it. But that was one of those things that it was a sleeper because it was on the Nintendo Wii U. And, you had like one friend out of 50 that had one of those.
Well,
and it was
everybody
me.
was still playing their Wii, so no one moved over to the Wii U. What's Bowser's Fury? Is that a new game or is that part of 3D World? Because that's also out on the 12th.
It's something that they're adding. I think it's a package deal where when you buy it, you'll actually get both. So it says, I'll just read from the press release. That's how lazy I am. In Super Mario 3D World, players can adventure through a whirlwind of colorful courses. They've added a couple things. You can play 4-player. There's going to be 2 new amiibo figures. The adventure that awaits in Bowser's Fury. Boy, they don't really go into detail explaining what that is. Well, you know what? Here's what I'm not sure about. Is it a separate thing or is it an expansion to 3D World? I'm not sure, but when you buy it, you're getting both in the package.
So that'll be on February 12th, and that is the date that the red and blue edition for the Nintendo Switch for Mario will come out. If anybody's interested, just text us to say, yeah, I'd be up for a Mario Switch. I'm just, again, curious if we'll spend the whole year not being able to find things. If you want one of these, there just won't be enough.
You know what? I'm not in the mode. I realize this is a month out, but guys, I'm buried. Maybe it's just me, but I'm buried in games I bought at the end of last year. I didn't buy a lot of games during the year. So at the end of the year, I picked up a bunch. And so
You're busy?
I got tons of PlayStation 4 games, couple games on the PC, enough to keep me going for months.
Worst of the Riot. Radio U.
I'll tell you, sometimes when you've been locked in, quarantined, whatever, for too long, you start to... things that aren't a good idea start to seem like a reasonable idea. And, you buy things. VR headsets, for example. Someone, we're not going to name any names, may have done that during quarantine, okay?
Or you could be, like one of us where you're ordering in a lot more. You're getting, food from out there and you're having it brought to you. I think we found a thing that made us happy during quarantine and we just went with it.
Yeah, well, Nikki, currently in Quebec, they are under a
level.
Help me out. Where
you're
curfew.
A curfew.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
it.
Okay, curfew. So they're under curfew from 8 p.m. to 5 a.m.
Yeah.
And so it's like, hey, you're not supposed to go outside. But if you need to walk your dog between 8 p.m. and 5 a.m., okay.
Yeah.
We'll let that go. All right. So there was a couple that, remember when I said sometimes when you're locked up, things sound like a good idea. They wanted to go for a walk. So they got a leash and a doggy chain for the husband, and the wife took him for a walk.
Oh, so that was their way around the law or the rule. Oh, I see.
So when the police stopped by to say, hello.
Yeah.
They were like, yeah, no, it doesn't count. And they're like, yes, it does. He's a dog. This is my dog. I'm walking my dog, whatever. And apparently the police had just no sense of humor about it.
So did they get in trouble? Do you get a fine or something?
They get fined. What do you think they get fined?
First offense, maybe what, 100 Canadian?
No, $1,200.
$1,200?
Each
of them? Oh, it seems like they're okay with making a statement about these people doing this, and they're okay to fine them. Wow, that's a lot of money.
I mean, I do know that the exchange rate these days not so great. That is $943 US.
Each person
is
still?
$1,200 Canadian. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to pay
so
that.
So that means... Heck no.
What you should have done is you borrow a dog, or that's when you just get a dog. There's so many dogs that needs good homes, and then you could have still been out and walking an actual dog without getting in trouble.
Yeah, and then, you do what I do. Like, once, your puppy grows up, you just drop him off at the place.
No, don't say it. I knew you were going to say it. He says that just to get people upset, and I'm the one who would get upset. Don't listen to him. Don't. He's not actually doing that. He just says it.
I don't actually do that. I just like to, when people say not to do something, I like to start recommending it.
All the time. And with his allergies, he'll never get a dog. So no one worry.
Never.
No one worry at all.
It's totally fine. Besides, part of the reason I don't have a dog is I'm such a sucker for anything that if I got a dog, I'd be like, you know what, doctor, take my heart and give it to the dog. Anything for him to live.
If I have one, why stop there? I'll take 20 more and he'll just open up his home.
Yeah, this hard heart that I have on the outside, it covers a way too sensitive heart.
Aww,
I
can't crack that shell. You can't let that happen.
I need to continue to be hard and mean. That's how I survive in this prickly world. And if I need to take my neighbor and put a dog collar on them and walk them around the neighborhood, why do we have to make it weird? I just needed to get out.
This was the worst of the riot, and we'd like to congratulate you on having the stomach to stick around to the very end. The riot exists because Radio U exists, and Radio U only exists because of your support. Find out more and give now at RadioU.com/donate.
What a world we live in where it's okay for an older man to date a younger woman.